clients that make your business explode are not the ones you find. They're almost always the ones that find you. And the difference between them and the ones who come in who drain your energy, drain your time, maybe even drain your bank balance is something that most online business owners overlook. So this is part 2 of a 6-part series. In last week's video, we talked about the broken model that's keeping you stuck under 20K a month. If this is the first time you're seeing any of my content, go back to that video and start there. It talks about all the things in this 6-part series. Today, we're going to talk about the most important thing in any business, anywhere on the planet, and of course that is your clients and your customers. And the difference between your dream clients and what that means for your business and your nightmare clients and what that means for your business. And I'm going to talk through it in 2 stories. One where I was a dream client and what that meant for my coach at the time. And then I'm going to talk about when in my last business, we made the mistake of chasing the wrong clients, bringing the wrong clients on board and the impact that that had on our business. And of course, I'm going to draw it on this paper, which represents the back of a napkin, because like I say, if it can't be done on the back of a napkin, it's not worth doing at all. And I'm going to also run through the marketing strategy specifically designed to filter the wrong clients out and make sure that we're working with our dream clients and we're attracting them, and how we do that at scale without the need for DMs and sales calls. Okay, so let's get into it. Why do we want to fill our roster full of ideal clients? It sounds obvious, but let's talk about the impact of what happens when we do that. So I'm just going to draw here dream client. And then what happens with our dream client is, firstly, and this is really important, we have fun working with them. There's nothing better than waking up in the morning and having contact with a bunch of people who you really enjoy hanging out with, who you can actually have a good time coaching, mentoring, guiding, consulting with. So making sure that we're working with people we can actually have fun and enjoy working with is so imperative. Then what happens is they get great results. Well, of course they do. And because they've got such great results, they're going to become an amazing case study. And one of the great things about amazing case studies is that case studies can be used in our marketing efforts to onboard new dream clients, because people who we want to work with see themselves in the dream client. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And the other thing that happens is we also get referrals direct. And the circle goes on. Back in 2019, I had spent 10 years away from professional football. So I left professional football at 19 and had spent 10 years building and scaling companies, taking one public and having an amazing time traveling around the world, building tech teams. And the challenge with that is that I got a lot of nice food, a lot of plane food, a lot of airport food, a lot of travel food, a lot of hotel food, and a lot of complimentary restaurants. And I'm giving myself excuses here, but at the end of the day, I put a lot of weight on. And I went from being a professional football player to being a little bit squidgy around the edges. And in 2019, I decided enough was enough and I need to get back to my prime. And what I did, I've been following a lad who I played football with for when I was a teenager. I've been following his journey on social media and seeing the results that he gets and seeing his philosophies and his ethos. And I reached out to him and I said, Mark, I need your help. And Mark obliged, and we had loads of fun. I got amazing results. I think within 8 months, I'd gone from being a bit squidgy around the edges to being basically in men's health condition. What was really important, that was 5 years ago, and Mark has maybe used this as a piece of social proof content, maybe 10, 15, 20 times over the last 5 years. So he continuously uses this in his marketing efforts to attract his dream client. And of course, it's a great case study. I did an interview with him, which I think is still on his website. And here's the bit that he probably wasn't expecting when he first signed me up. I referred loads of people to him. And bear in mind, my last coaching business I ran, we worked with hundreds of personal trainers and fitness coaches. But if anyone asks me from my personal experience of who I've worked with, I always refer Mark. And I probably referred maybe 25 people to him over the years. And if you're watching this video and you're interested in maybe losing a few pounds, you're probably going to go and check his Instagram, and I'm back at it again, the referral machine. So that's what being a dream client feels like, and having a dream client. So that is what happens when we have our dream clients, and the importance. We wake up every day enjoying what we do. We're getting people great results, which is really fulfilling to us as coaches or as online business owners. And then we're going to get an amazing case study that we can use to attract more dream clients. And then referrals are just the icing on the cake, or the cherry on top. Now, let's flip that around and talk about what happens when you attract your nightmare client, or when your nightmare client joins, I should say. And I'm going to do this really small down here, because let's just call it your nightmare client. And for argument's sake, we'll call her Karen. And with Karen, it's really not fun. If anything, it's bloody hard work. This client is the type of one that complains, the type of one that doesn't put the work in, the type of one that wants everything doing for them, the type of one that misunderstood the process before they joined, all of those fun things. And then of course, they don't get results, and you can see the cycle going. No case studies, no referrals. If anything, you might get a negative review. So the impact of having a nightmare client on you personally as a business owner, it drains your energy and it makes it not fun. And it just means that there's no benefit in having them on board other than the money that they invest, of course. However, I just want to say, if we do that and we take the money, it's such short-term thinking. And I want to talk about when I did that in my last business. It was November 2023, and we thought it would be a really cool idea to leverage on Black Friday and massively reduce the investment to work with us as a coaching organization. So I think we reduced our fee by 50%. And then we also reduced the time frame for people to work with us to get results. So one, by discounting, we brought on board a lot of the wrong type of clients who were looking for a discount. They were waiting, they had a lot of reservations, there was a lot of resistance there. And then we gave ourselves half the time to get the results. We made it really difficult. And on paper, it actually was a record month. We never onboarded as many coaches. I think we onboarded 68 new coaches in a month, which skyrocketed revenue in the short term. But actually the impact of that was that it overwhelmed the team. They were mostly challenging clients, very few case studies, a lot didn't put the work in. The team was swamped and overwhelmed, so it was hard work to deal with. And many of them left whenever they could. So from a financial perspective, we actually lost out, when I worked it out, about 30K on that whole experience, and it pissed the team off. It just wasn't a fun experience at all. So that's the extreme of what happens when you onboard a lot of the wrong type of customers. So if we know we want to attract our dream client, and we know we don't want to attract our nightmare client, the question is, how do we build a system that attracts our dream clients? And that's what we want to focus on, and that's the importance, and we call it the dream client magnet. I know we went to town on the wording for that. And there's three things we want to do through our content to make sure that we are pre-qualifying people before they arrive. Number one, we want to make sure the result that we offer and the result that the client wants are aligned. So it must be super clear what the result is. And as a Brucey bonus, what the process is. What does it actually look like working with you? So your dream client understands what it's going to be like working with you. Then what we have is, when they understand the results, we then want to make sure that they get an idea of our values. It's really, really important that they get to understand who we are, what we're all about, and making sure that we're aligned. This is one of the things that we often miss in our content, and it's so important because if somebody understands what results they're going to get, and if someone understands the values that you have, then we're already in a position where we are pre-qualifying people before they arrive. And then finally, trust. Your dream clients turn up because they trust in the process, they trust in you, they've built that trust by being able to experience your content. And like we said on the last video, we want to be able to binge your content so that they really understand the results you get, the values you have, and the trust mechanism is well and truly in motion. If they trust you, if they understand your values, and they know what results they're going to get and the process you're going to go through, by the time they get to making the decision, your dream clients are the ones that are left saying yes. And all of the wrong type of clients, they've filtered themselves out. And one of the massive advantages of using the gravitational marketing methodology, using short form, long form, and email, is that we've got multiple different ways to weave these three things through your content so that people get to really understand this before making a decision. Now, if you're doing short form content, book a call, get them on a call, the likelihood is that you're going to end up with a lot of the wrong type of clients on those sales calls. And whether it's you or whether it's one of your closers, when someone's trying to give you money on a call, it becomes really difficult. You might have this gut feeling in your stomach, you might have had it yourself, where you think, not sure that this is going to be a great fit, or there's something that's not feeling quite right about this. But they're there and they're saying yes, and they're waving their card at you. And it's really hard to turn them away at that stage. So we think, let's see what happens. What's the worst that could happen? And whenever we do that, when we let our standards slip and we bring on board the wrong client, we end up in a situation where we've got the wrong clients in our business. And if we do that too many times, our business becomes really unfun to run. So now you know how to bring the right clients in. In the next video, we're going to talk about what do we do when the client base starts to grow? How do we manage delivery that can scale, that's personalized, that has high touch points, that doesn't require a massive team? We don't want to end up in a situation that I was in my last business with a team of 20, loads of complexity, loads of headaches, loads of challenges, massive cost base to the business. We're going to talk about in the next video how we avoid that. I'll see you there.